Hello and good morning if you're here live, YouTube. I hope everyone is well. I am wanting to talk to you today about fear and anxiety and is it holding you back? I presume if you clicked on this video that it is holding you back, and it held me back for a long time until I discovered a few really good tools and tips to help me to shift out of it. And I'm going to break those down with you today and share them really simply to get you started. You know, it is a practice. It's going to take a little bit of practice to get used to using these tools and to get used to stepping outside of your mind. I'm going to tell you what that means in a moment. Don't worry. But for now, just to let you know, if you're new here, if you're new to me and my channel, who I am. So I am Adele Derbyshire, the founder of Find Your Inner Sparkle, which is my beautiful business, helping you to find that spark inside of yourself, to get rid of, to get over things like fear and anxiety and depression, things that are keeping you stuck and are limiting your life and your potential for you to live your best life and stopping you from really shining your light. Because I do truly believe that we all have that unique gift, that spark, divine spark inside of us, waiting to get out. And all of this stuff that we collect as we grow up from being really small, and in fact, before we're even born, that we absorb from the world around us, it starts to create this hard protective shell, this protective layer, and our ego mind decides that it's not safe. It's not safe for us to go and, you know, speak in front of people, because when we were 5 and we were asked to do a show and tell at primary school and we were really excited and we took in our pet guinea pig, or, you know, our favorite toy that we love so much that we were so excited, and we shone and we showed up and we talked about it. And then little boy at the back started to snigger and say, you know, it was really girly and soft to play with dollies, and you know, started to take the mick out of us a little bit. And we decided we didn't want to share anything anymore because it hurts. Like, for somebody not to accept us, it hurts our feelings. We put up our first little wall, our first shell, and we keep on building our armor. The problem with that is it's going to hold you back. And, you know, when we start to grow up a little bit and we start to think, do you know what? Do I really care what so-and-so thinks of me? Somebody that doesn't even know me. And if you're not there yet, don't worry, you can get there. Not caring about what other people think is such a freeing decision to make. So just, you know, start on this journey with me, stay with me, watch this video, practice the tools a little bit. If you're new to the channel or you're not already a subscriber, hit subscribe. I would love to grow this channel and to share this message with more people. I know there are more people out there that need to hear it. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, pop me a little comment in the comments box. I love to hear from people after watching the videos. I will come back to you if you do drop a comment. So first of all, fear. What is fear? Like, what even is it? Well, it's an unpleasant emotion. So I've got a little definition. An unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, real or imagined. And that's the key. We're going to come back to that. And it's a threat to our physical, emotional, or psychological well-being. So it can be a threat to any of those. And it can be real or it can be imagined. Now, if you are honest, if you think about the things that you're afraid of, just think about things today that you're afraid of. Every time something bubbles up for you, notice it, write it down. Is it a real threat to one of those things? Is it a threat to your actual physical body? Is it a threat to your emotional well-being? Is it a real threat to your psychological well-being? So some of you might say, well, yeah, you know, because if you're worried about doing a presentation at work next Wednesday, it's very real. I have to do this presentation, so it feels real. So you need to worry about it now, right? Wrong, because it's not real. That presentation, number one, may not even happen. How many times have you worried yourself to death about something for it to get cancelled, for the managers to say, we've changed our mind, we're just moving the agenda around and we don't really have time for your presentation, so we'll do it another time. And you spent all week preparing, you haven't slept properly, you have been giving yourself so much stress and anxiety that you've been flooding your body with cortisol and adrenaline. For what? It didn't even happen. So it might feel real, but I want you to check in and really be honest with yourself when you decide, is this real or is this imagined? Because I suspect that 90% of your worries and your anxieties and your fears are about things that aren't real, because what that means is they're not happening right now. So if your smoke alarm goes off in the hall, mine's in the hall, I don't know where yours is, just if it goes off, that's like, oh, it's a real threat, the smoke alarm's going off. But actually, if we go and have a look around, it could be that it's faulty, that it needs new batteries. It could be that someone in your house has just burnt a piece of toast. It could be that there's a bloody fire and you need to get the hell out of the house. So do a little bit of investigating first of all and decide whether it's a real or imagined threat. Okay, so fear, it stops us in our tracks. It stops us from doing things. Like that amount of fear could cause you to not even do the presentation, right? You could say, I just can't handle it. I'm too afraid of stumbling my words, getting it wrong, worrying about what people are going to think of me. And as I've just said, it causes us to get unwell because it causes dis-ease. It stops our immune system from functioning properly because we're not in the rest and digest phase of our nervous system. Instead, we're operating in this sympathetic nervous system. We're up here, we're in fight or flight, we're waiting to tackle this threat wherever it's going to come from. So why do we do it then? If it's that easy just to say, just don't worry about it, because this is what people say to us, right? They say, don't worry about it. You'll be all right. Just don't worry about it. And I used to get angry. I used to be like, if it was that easy, don't you think I'd be doing that? My mind will not let me do that. It's just, it's a mind of its own. I have no control over my mind. It does all this thinking, it does all this worrying, it does all this ruminating over things that are not even happening yet. And then I feel poorly, I feel stressed, my tummy's hurting. You might not be able to eat, you might have sweaty palms, palpitations. If it was that easy, we'd all just flick the off button, right? If it was that easy, has somebody found the off button for their mind yet? No. It's not that easy. So I need to give you some tools. So when I had enough of this anxiety and this gnawing sensation and this constant treadmill and hamster wheel of the mind going over and over and over things, and then things don't even happen, and you've wasted all that precious time worrying. When I had enough, I decided I was going to do something about it. I decided I was going to get some help, get some therapy. I tried the CBT route, was okay, gave me a little bit of a tool, but I needed more. I tried the medication along with the CBT, the traditional route. And again, it wasn't for me. Number one, I didn't want to stay on it forever. I wanted to be like, oh, that's for a little while until I find, the real solution. And number two, it wasn't good for my body. It caused some problems in my body, the side effects and all of the things. So I needed a different solution. So I got some help, some spiritual coaching, which I'm really passionate about. I went to a coach that actually talks about things that I believe in and understand, to do with the yoga, to do with meditation, and to do with how the mind actually works and creates those feelings. It's all coming from our thoughts. And this lady introduced me to the work of Sydney Banks, which I found completely fascinating. It sounds really simple, but I'd never heard it described like this before, that 100% of our feelings and our emotions are just coming from our thinking. And our thinking is often rubbish. It's total rubbish. It's not even true. But we get caught up in it and we believe in it. We believe the hype. If our brain is thinking it, it must be true. That's like saying if it's in the Sunday newspaper, it must be true. Yeah. If it's on the internet, it must be true. We've got to start to take ourselves with a pinch of salt. So, why do we do it? Because we can't help ourselves. So, how do we start to climb out of the pit and to change our lives and to suddenly be somebody that, isn't describing ourselves as an anxious person or somebody that has anxiety? I describe myself now as I used to have or I'm recovering from, because I'm moving forward. And yes, we're all going to have these moments of fear and stress kick in because we're human. It's a human emotion. We have these thoughts. So we can't help that first little thought, that first trigger, that first event in our life that causes us to go. But what we can do is we can change the chain of events after that point. So how do we do that? Well, I'm going to give you 3 little letters that spell arc, like the arc of a rainbow. So you can think of it like that. Number 1 is awareness. Nothing can change without awareness. We have to have awareness. So if you want to type it in the comments for somebody that's watching afterwards, you can do, or write it down for yourself. A is for awareness. Sounds simple, but if you've ever tried being thoroughly aware of all of the thoughts that you have all day long, it is not easy. So backtrack a little bit. How you can get better at that is practicing meditation. The practice of meditation, the work you do every day on your mat or on your meditation stool or cushion, that strengthens that pattern so that you are much more likely to be able to step back from your mind and watch it and observe it as you're driving your car, as you're going about your day. You will just do it automatically. You will get better at this, like a Zen master, like a ninja at watching your mind. This mind training, it starts with meditation. That's the tool, that's the bicep curl for this stuff. Number 2 is to realize. R is to realize. Realize that you are not your mind, that you are separate from your mind. We need this understanding to be able to step back and say, my mind is thinking this. This may not be the truth. You can watch, you can observe, like somebody that's picked up the newspaper on the newsstand and you read the headline that says, such a body's having an affair with such a body, and you're like, you could read it and go, oh my God, that's terrible, blah, blah, blah. Or you could go, well, they might not be true. It's none of my business anyway. You could have that observer's mindset. And then step 3 for the C is, I've cheated a little bit here and done 2. Calm and control. So we need to get control of our monkey mind and calm it down. And there are lots of other tools to help you to calm it down. I've got things like breathing that we can do, affirmations to just flip that worrisome thought around, turn it around, create affirmations. We can ask ourselves questions about the thoughts. So I'm not going to go into those all today because I want this video to be around under 15 minutes. But just start here. Let's start here. So have some awareness, practice your meditation. Realize you're not your mind. You are not your hand. You are not your mind. You are something different. You are in there. You are the higher self, the consciousness, and you can observe your mind. You are not your mind. And number 3 is calm and control. Take back control of your mind and teach it to be calm. I'm going to leave it there. Let me know if this has been helpful and pop some comments in what you took away from the video. What's your biggest takeaway from the video? I'll be back next week. I've done this one on Thursday. They sometimes be on Thursdays, sometimes Fridays. Depends if I've got plans on the Friday. But yeah, every week I'm going to be sharing a little bit of yoga, meditation, breathing, tips to help with stress, fear, anxiety, overwhelm. So let me know if that's something that you're interested in. Definitely hit the subscribe button so you get notified, and I'll see you all next week. Bye for now. Thanks for watching, guys.